what I'm going to try to do here, I'm going to try to condense into 20 minutes when I typically this would be minimum a 3-hour workshop. So I used to do this every year, but I haven't in about 4 years. And so a lot of the notes I have are right here, and they're kind of scattered. But I wanted to do this quickly because I started seeing a lot of things pop up for people such as, we'll get through this, I can't wait till this month's over with, to a lot of, negativity, to people going through their stuff. And we're going through a really challenging time. And what I mean by that, even if you're a positive person, even if you have the support, that obviously, there's a lot of things going on with our government. There's a lot of changes in our planet. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's maybe the experience of feeling divided. There are people suffering. There are people in camps. I mean, the list goes on of many different reasons to be upset or be exposed to things you don't want to see. There's also a lot of a change and positive things happening on the planet. So to really get this going and to start this off, and please follow and watch this entire thing. I mean, some people are just, watching us now and they maybe just get a little bit here and there, but it's really important that we start from the beginning and until the ending. So for example, I would love to just do something with you right now for you to be receptive. And I'm going to just explain that a little bit. And it goes like this. So when you're stressed in your story, meaning that I don't like the holidays, to create this consensus reality of like, it's going to be this way, it's going to be this way, then all you are is in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, it's activating your limbic system to where that there's absolutely no way that you're going to be releasing neurochemicals that feed your soul, that connect to happiness and so forth. So just imagine even watching this video, if you are doing this in a rush state, or I just got you off in an argument, or you've been just thinking about all the bullshit you see on Facebook right now, even what I say maybe will not help you, not because the tools, not because of what I'm saying or sharing here, because your body is closed down, okay? A good example is this. Have you ever received a text message and where you see this text message, you're like, oh, like you don't know really what it means, but it feels negative. And then you just go to sleep. You don't respond. You wake up the next morning and you're refreshed and you feel good and you're kind of more back in your body. You're not like, your day's not stacked with all that you've done and you're stressed already and you read this crappy, or you perceive as a crappy text message. You go to sleep, you wake up and you go, I'm going to stay curious and ask him or ask her what they meant. You might read it differently and realize, oh, they're just literally asking me a question. It's not negative. Just like that, the reason why I explain that is that because you're refreshed, you're more relaxed, and so forth. So unless you're driving, a backhoe or a car, or you can't do this, don't try this. But the first thing we want to do is just bring the energy down. And when I say bring the energy down, I want you to use the tone, ha, ha. The sound, that vowel, is for the heart. Yeah. Believe it or not, we have all the pharmaceuticals in our body to create the chemical changes that we want to open ourselves up, to relax our nervous system so we can feel good, to be receptive to the tools that I'm going to share and concepts. So the way that you do this is that basically you sweep up with an inhale. I usually keep my tongue on my palate for that moment. And I sweep down and I'm saying the vowel, ha. And then imagine that energy from my head, all that's going on, being swept through my body all the way down to my feet to earth. So it's as if when I go, ha, I'm bringing heaven down to earth. Now, this is something I want you to do right now for just, maybe a couple seconds. After you watch this video, go back to it And you might do this for 5 to 10 minutes. But this is a great way just to get out of your head and be receptive to me and even this new day, okay? And I'm doing this quicker for the sake of this Facebook Live and to keep your attention, because some people just really like, the knowledge transmission. You want me to talk. You want me to be linear. But you won't be receptive to it anyway if you are in that state of mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're kind of in survival, so you're not open. And to be open to new information and experience, we want to turn on your prefrontal cortex, literally, and interesting enough that this is also where the third eye is. So you have neuroscientists who validate this by what's happening with the more blood flow to this front part of the brain. And you have yogis, or those who can see chakras, can say that, no, there's an energy center here. When it opens up, you're more receptive to new light, to clarity, and so forth, okay? So I'm going to do this one more time, and then we're going to move forward with this, okay? Bringing heaven down to earth to open you up. And please watch this entire video, because I'm going to give you little nuggets of little tools, okay? And it's kind of it's a little scattered, because again, I used to give this workshop to big groups of people, and I'm just doing it here quickly. I just grabbed my quick notes of some things I might want to talk about. So let's first talk about the holidays, the philosophies around it, which is so important, and just share a little bit of my story really quickly. So first off, this is my first December without my mom, in the flesh. My mom passed away this year, March 2nd. This is also the first December where my mother wasn't here for her birthday or my father's birthday. My dad turned 94 December 12th. If my mother were still alive, she would have turned 85, which was December 15th. Yes, my house was filled with, I'm a fire sign too, I'm a Leo, a lot of fire in our home. With that being said, so just imagine I can use this reason to feel bad. In other words, I can attach all these associations to like how I want to avoid December because of what had happened with my mother. It's my first dad's experience over 50 years of not having my mother here during the holidays to even celebrating her birthday. So just imagine that association, that connection. And the reason why I'm using that is because I don't feel that at all. Like I definitely am having probably the best December ever right now. It's very relaxing, and I want to be able to share the gifts to help you with this also because I've been through this process. Now, keep in mind there's that story of like this current year, but prior years in December, the attachments, especially those who say they've been traumatized during this time of the year, is that I've crashed literally 2 cars. I've broken up with almost every girlfriend, long-term girlfriend I had, when I was a teenager, early 20s. I overdosed on PCP when I was 16 during December, and that was purposely, like I was heartbroken, and I lived. I crossed over the other side and came back. And when I started making more money, I started traveling. I started escaping. Wherever I was at by myself, whether it was Bali or somewhere else, there I was with my thoughts, my feelings, and so I couldn't escape it. So look at all that negativity, all the things that are connected to my old story, including how this year could connect to that also. Okay? And hopefully you can feel my heart, like you can tell or experience me, that there's nothing but light and joy right now in this new December, okay? So my old story could be this. I'm sure you can relate to this. And feel free to ask any questions, but I'm sure you can relate to this. So when I was a child growing up, my father used to be more abusive. It's when his PTSD would be in like full fire. Like it was where, and of course, I did not know if that was my brother's experience also, but we had spoken about as we got older, and like we would avoid the holidays. Whether he separated himself because of consumerism and I went a different way, it doesn't really matter. We both agreed that it sucked being around Dad, because he would get quiet, he would go into these really strange moods. He would sometimes blame my mom about something. We had this narrative that, maybe is that because he was in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. He also grew up during the Great Depression. The holidays probably gave him, an artificial lack of sense of self, such as I can't buy gifts. I am poor. My mother, she grew up in a family where there was 9 kids. They were poor. So just imagine there was still social media back during their time to where people are buying gifts and doing all these fun things, whereas my parents are poor. Do you understand? So they're not able to do that thing. Does that resonate with you? So if you have financial issues, or you think you can't buy something or buy that ring for that woman or whatever, this has been going on our planet for a really long time, okay? So my parents grew up in that same type of mindset like we have all collectively, to maybe feel less than. But also when my father maybe was at war, is that, people were sad. They were not able to spend time with their family. He was holding space for all his men. And so I think he just kind of imploded and took it in. And so therefore, being around my father during the holidays, it was, for me, my experience, it was exactly like it's like the Hurt Locker. Like he didn't want to be there. Like he'd rather be somewhere else with his men at war, and here he had his family here, but he never in a way kind of came back. You know what I mean? Like it was like for 30 years he had been doing this one thing, the way that he would deal with the holidays. And here he is with a good woman, my mom, 2 good kids, and here he couldn't handle it, okay? He even was pretty much stable with money. I mean, things were taken care of. Things were not as expensive. Inflation wasn't so damn freaking high. But still, he was not able to experience it with joy. So I only shared my story because all of us, have similar stories to like not being enough, not being able to do things, by having chaos at every holiday get-together, to where we don't have connections to people here, but yet we don't want to connect to family who, always start fights with us or ask us, when are you going to get married? Or what are you doing with your life and all that bullshit? So there's so much that could get kicked up to even this, just true things such as, there are a lot of businesses that slow down. So like money might get tight to where you don't know where you're going to make your next check, to where a lot of businesses are working things out to the end to take care of the taxes. I mean, we can find all these freaking excuses of why not experience joy and love during the holidays. Now, if you want to get into Chinese medicine, or like kind of like our seasons and how we are to operate, with nature, why is it that other species hibernate? Why is it that other animals seem to gather and then retreat? Because that they're going vibrationally with the sun, or the lack of it. We should be sleeping more. We should be resting more, and so forth. Even that, there's less sunlight. Less sunlight. Well, scientists might say that there's less vitamin D, going in your body and so forth. Who knows? Also this, if you are around a bunch of other depressed people, and vibrationally, you will pick up on that. For example, they've done some tests with some rats or mice. Of course, I know you don't like to hear these stories where, I don't know how they scare the shit out of them, but let's just say that they shocked them or something, or did something to make them frantic. And that was one set of mice. And then they got another group of mice and put them in the same cage. And under 5 minutes, the other mice were frantic also. They were picking up on their pheromones and other things that are, say, unseen. So here you are, it's during the holidays, you can be the most positive person. You could feel like you've done all your inner work and everything else, and yet you pick up this vibration because we all are part of the collective consciousness. We're all part of the unseen, meaning that we feel people. We see people through Facebook. We have our own story with our family. Now I'm sharing all this and I'm going to break it down. So your influences of Christmas are your immediate experience by what your parents taught you about it, what happened, and so forth, to the literal experiences such as being beaten, or dad becoming an alcoholic, or him going to PTSD, or mom crying because she's single. So you have that experience. You are subjected through social media by what you should be doing and what would be a better holiday and so forth. Do you understand? You have the religious component that goes with it, that where there's a lot of confusion, to where like it might feel forced to feel happy this time of the year, or forced to celebrate with people because of what had been established before you. And then you have what is the unseen I mentioned, is the collective unknown. So with that being said, I'm giving you information that itself should neutralize some of this for you to like kind of think of, holy shit, what is the holidays for me? And Ray does have a big black cup. Yeah, I do. So what is, shit, I just built that. What are the holidays for me? How do I celebrate my soul? How do I create a better one? Because I can continue to create this continuity illusion. I see it even with coaches, with people saying, it is tough. Watch out for this. Be careful for that. Now, if you say that, you have to be a vibrational match to that which you don't want in your life or to experience. In other words, when you just feel good, you just feel good. You're not talking about what you want to avoid or what, for example, when you're with your lover and you're having a great time, it's not like you're talking about, I don't want to cheat her, I don't want to cheat her. You only perpetuate that if you're not experiencing that which you are having or what you really love and prefer. We typically talk about things that are negative, not because it's outside there in that it happened back then, but because we're experiencing it now. In this very now moment, when I'm trying to say that there really is no past. There really is no past. Because if all things are experienced right now, what I mean by that is, who do you consider you? The person you were 10 years ago? 20 years ago? Like, for example, I'm going to keep sharing a lot in a short period of time. When you visit high school friends, why are you turned off often? Why are the jokes no longer funny? Why is it that you don't resonate with those people? Because you both are consciously somewhere else. So just like that, you're consciously somewhere else from whom was hurt and victimized during the holidays. You are someone else that got in a car accident, who broke up with someone. You are someone else rather than a hurt child who was spoken down to or beaten up by your parents. But your connection to that experience without clarity and awareness and trying to avoid it, in this now moment, you're creating the continuity illusion of that experience now. In other words, it's as if you're recreating it now. You are recreating now in this now moment through all your neurological connections to that story to have that visceral response. That makes sense? Watch that again. Once again, like I mentioned, you can go visit high school friends and have no connection. You might look the same, they kind of look the same, you look older, but you just are not relating on the same vibration because you have consciously evolved. We are, if you were to say who we are, we're not our physical self, we're not mom, dad, or whatever, or the hurt child. We are literally forever unfolding consciousness. We are forever unfolding consciousness. We are forever unfolding consciousness. So again, when you talk about what had happened during the holidays, when you talk about it's going to be tough, when you talk about how Larry's going to drink too much again and be an asshole, you're re-experiencing that right now within your own body. There would be no difference with whether or not Larry was being an asshole or not, versus you right here, in this now moment, creating it within your consciousness, experiencing as so. Did that make sense? Okay? So we create that within our bodies, and just to give you a little bit more proof of that using science. So you see this cup here, it's warm tea because I'm talking and have some stuff a little bit going on in my throat. I was kind of fighting off my son's thing. This is warm, this is tasty. This very now moment watching this video, if scientists were to hook your brain up to electrodes to show brain activity, it would show that right now is as if you just had this warm tea just like me. So what is reality? What is it? Is it outside of us? Or is it something we create through our perceptions? Interesting, huh? So if your brain doesn't know the difference between whether Larry or someone else, and by the way, I don't have an Uncle Larry or anyone in my life with a negative belief about Larry, I'm just making a story up. Whether they do something or not, whether the holiday could be a certain way, by the way you stay connected to the story without having clarity and empowerment, you experience it the same as every other year. So Christmas, the holidays, Hanukkah, in and of itself is not negative. It's your recreation of it. It's your perceptions to it. And that's what this Facebook Live is all about, to help you understand. As I mentioned earlier in this video, my mom passed away this year, and my mom and dad's birthday is in December. So I'm experiencing this time of the year, which in the past had been really difficult. Such as I said, I crashed cars, I overdosed, broke up with girlfriends. I don't know what else I did. But if I not healed that, then the sadness or whatever else that's not clear with my parents probably would show up this time of the year also in December. Is this making sense? So many of us have created the connections and the associations to the holidays versus the lack of awareness and integration and more of what we prefer. That's all it really is. And that's why I started creating more a holiday for the soul. For God's sake, I was raised Jewish and Buddhist, okay? And we had a Christmas tree, and then we practiced, we celebrated Hanukkah. I mean, the list went on. My parents never looked at the holidays as a religious thing because they didn't experience it because they were poor. That for them, they just wanted their children, my brother and I, all my brothers, to experience joy. That's all. Like, it was more like connecting to family. So thank God I had parents who were not in that vibration of guilt or whatever, but more like, because they want to be more open and celebrate it within the heart because they didn't have the experience, okay? So now let's just jump into a little bit more here. And I'm going to show you another exercise, and I'm going to show you some more concepts here. So this is an exercise, and it's using you're shaping your mouth into an O. It is getting your hands. For men, you put your left hand over your heart and your right hand over that hand. And for women, you put your right hand over your heart and your left hand over that. This connects both to this is my feminine side. This is my masculine side. So it's more to balance ourselves out. This really works. Now remember, in this video, I shared with you kind of something to open you up to be more receptive to this experience with me. So this is another one, but this is also literally to help you move through something. And then I'll share one more towards the end, or maybe a couple more. So I'm going to do it my way. And what I'm doing, first off, I'm locking my root lock, which is like my PC muscle, to hold that. My spine is elongated. And even if you are kind of hearing this as new age stuff or whatever, try it. See if it works, okay? I put my hands over my heart here like this, and it's called the dragon's breath. And I also go up, shape my mouth into an O. And I would do this minimum 3 minutes. And again, for the sake of this video, to not watch some dude in front of you do this for 3 minutes, I'm not going to. I'm going to do about 30 seconds. And my belly is pumping up and down. I do that up to 3 minutes. This helps get rid of the garbage that's possibly in your heart. A great way to open you up. You might ask, why would I do that? How that will this help, and so forth. As I mentioned, that if you are in complete third-dimensional reality of the things that you need to do and the stories that you've created, including creating all the negative associations of what have happened during the holidays, then even trying to force yourself to effort yourself to think differently is not going to work. We want to open up your heart. We want to get you breathing. We want to bring oxygen into your body. And so important. While physical activity is important to get blood movement and help you be a healthier person, what most people don't realize is the breath is for the soul. The breath is for your energy center. The breath is to also calm your nervous system. The breath is to connect you into a different frequency as far as how your brain fires to either connect you to, say, maybe delta, to being more relaxed, to gamma, where you're in your peak state. Okay? So no matter how much you work out with the weights or you try to force yourself in the head to think positively, it will not work. In order to start connecting to new concepts, you need to be able to open up your body. You're welcome. Thank you. So the helps open you up. It does all those things I just mentioned, okay? Now, I'm going to connect this exercise to some philosophies that help you, so stay with me, and I'm going to show you another exercise that is for the heart, for the breath. What's going on, Brett? So, let's just jump into this. So, as I mentioned, some people have a lot of challenges with the holidays in regards to people. So I'm going to give you a tool here. This tool only works, however, only if your heart is open and you're feeling it. So imagine I'm about to go to a family get-together. Okay? Someone that is there that I probably don't prefer. Okay? Or it could just be the situation that I'm afraid of. Or every Thanksgiving or Christmas, they ask me questions. They're just curious. Who knows? Maybe that's how they show love towards me. But it's me being triggered about it. Whatever it is, this is how you do this, okay? So what you'll do is this breath work. Remember, with men, left hand over heart, right hand over that hand. And for women, this way. Do this O. Connect to that, to clear, to open up your heart. And this is an exercise I learned from Avatar. As you say this to yourself, now in that relaxed state, imagining, and this is my hybrid version of it, but imagining this person in front of you, seeing them, feeling them with your open heart. And you be saying these things, and repeat this to yourself, maybe out loud, and then silently, okay? Now I'm in this open heart state. Now I'm receptive. And I read this to myself. And remember, this is about the negative situation or person. Just like me, this person is seeking some happiness in his or her life. Just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering in his life, his or her life. Just like me, this person has known sadness and loneliness and despair. Just like me, this person is seeking to fulfill his or her needs. Just like me, this person is learning about life. Isn't that beautiful? Hi, Don. Isn't that beautiful? So that's a little technique that I kind of put together where you do the O-ring, the breath of fire, to release this stuck energy. Then connect to applicable narrative to process this person in your heart. You're not agreeing with this person. You're liberating yourself from your judgments and also connecting to the awareness that he or she might be consciously doing the best that they can. Listen how I put the consciously, because we all know that there could be maybe something that better can show up, but where they are, remember, they're forever unfolding consciousness. They're doing the best they can consciously. Okay? So that frees you up with, say, dealing with that challenging person. Okay? So there's that. Okay? Here's another thing. And I did this with a client who would always go home during the holidays and there would be fighting and so forth. And it's called segment intending. Same thing. Do the... If you're just seeing this video now, go back and watch how I did it. Do this up to 3 minutes. Then you close your eyes. Or your eyes can be closed through the whole thing. It doesn't really matter. And you connect to the experience that you prefer. You're taking back your power. And what I mean by that is this woman who I worked with, this is over 10 years ago, saw her family having a good time, playing card games, connecting, and she experienced herself having the best time ever. And when she traveled home, what showed up was there was less drinking, more connecting. And when she came back, she said, I wonder how much I was the problem of that. I said, yeah, it's interesting. Because when you change yourself from the inside out, the players, the people, the situations change. It's a gold nugget there. It works. So that's called segment intending. Again, it's not in your head. It's in your heart first. Clear your heart with that exercise I shared with you. And then you connect. You imagine. You get as detailed as possible. Detailed. So if you were having a good time in that situation, it might look like, what am I feeling? You see yourself laughing. You feel yourself laughing. You hear the laughter of others. You smell the cookies, the gingerbread cookies. You feel a sense of belonging regardless. And no matter what, it's going to shift your experience. Now keep in mind, if it's outcome driven for them to be that way, then you have an attachment. And then you're going there once again trying to rearrange your furniture on a Titanic. It is your personal responsibility to feel good or neutral. Okay? So what I mean by that is that there's no attachment for the people to change. It's up to you to change. And that's it. And the way you start shifting dynamics, it starts with you first. Okay? So there's that. Here is something else. So this is for people who are single. And I didn't write anything too much about for that here, but this will be easy anyway. So keep in mind, I dropped my son off yesterday with his mom. I'm going to be without Max for 6 days. And that's the longest I've been without Max in 2 to 3 years. Okay? Now, I share that with some people And they said, oh my God, you're going to be missing him. They're like, you're going to be without your son during Christmas time, blah, 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 blah. I'm performing tonight at a corporate Christmas party. Tomorrow I'm going to Ojai, Hot Springs. No, I'm also throwing a party Christmas Day with my, with a small get together, maybe. We'll see, Point of all this is that my son is just leaving for 6 days. My son is just leaving for 6 days. Why would they have to be sad because it lands on Christmas Day? Why does it have to be sad that it lands on Christmas Day? Truly, you can create it. Well, it's Christmas. Yeah, tell me what. And then what? Did you know I'm the one who created that? I wanted that. Why? Because it was probably more important for his mother because she sees him less. That makes me feel good. And not only that, I'm good with my son. Shit, we have Christmas every day. We buy stuff all the time. We have a good time. So the reason I'm sharing this for a moment is that some of you are co-parents or single, and you think because I don't have my kids on Christmas, there's something missing. Because I'm not in a relationship with someone, a lover, I'm missing something during the holidays because he didn't ask me to marry me, and make that announcement from my family. I'm not loved because I don't have enough money to buy gifts. There's something wrong. Whatever the story you want to create is absolutely not dismissing it, but it's bullshit. It's your perceptions to it. It has nothing to do with actual truth. And what I've come to discover is this, why this has become such a long Facebook Live, is listen to the very beginning again. How you've created connected the dots of what this means to you is probably leading you to failure versus there's something wrong. Everything you've connected from you having healed, from being part of the collective consciousness, to maybe prior abuse, to whatever you never really healed during this time of year, when it comes December, that shit gets kicked up again, you're triggered again, and you blame it, create the continuity illusion, which I just shared, of this is why I feel bad, and this is why December is so shitty. No, it's because you haven't integrated this to look at it up until now from this perspective and realize I have been programmed. I have been brainwashed. Do you understand where I'm going from? So it's creating a holiday in this experience for the soul, for your conscious self, so you can create what you truly want. So for me, remember, I went from drugs and alcohol to crashing cars to go on vacations to whatever else, and here I am experiencing the most joyful December, even though my mom is not physically here, and I was not able, we didn't celebrate, say, her birthday with her physically here and singing happy birthday. And this is my father's first one after 50 years without my mom. But my connections to December is much different. And it's a time for this. A time for appreciation. A time for gratitude. A time to slow down. A time to receive. A time to sleep more. A time to make some phone calls. Time to get a massage. A time to eat maybe more cookies and not care about if I gain a little weight. A time to do nothing. A time to just be. A time to volunteer. A time to do a Facebook Live, to give back. I could keep going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. That's what it means for me. So I'm going to do a little Mr. Rogers exercise if you saw the movie. Okay? So for a minute right now, what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to connect to all the people who have loved you to their best ability of your becoming. Remember, you are forever unfolding consciousness. So, whoever you were then is not now. Who you are now is everything. So it's now a moment of feeling completeness. Connect to those. Connect to those who loved you to their best ability. Connect to those who connect to you on Facebook. Even a thank you, a like. Feel that support. Feel that in your heart. Feel that warmth. Allow that to be amplified. Connect to the silence. Connect to the oneness. Feel the love now. You're so beautiful, so unique, and sane. So that is a little Mr. Rogers exercise to do. And so powerful and so deep. All right? So, as far as being single during the holidays, that means you get to be invited to more parties. Being single on the holidays means that you can connect and go to many parties and dinners. Being single, that means you probably can take walks and go hiking and do things. There's nothing wrong with singlehood. There's nothing wrong with singlehood. This idea that you're with family, this idea that that would be better. So, my dad is elderly and he's being taken care of by a caregiver. I have a brother back east, a brother in Hawaii. I have cousins who are older and all their kids are older. So they're doing their own thing. I'm not missing anything. Oh, majority of my friends are entrepreneurs and tantrikas and people who don't have kids, who accidentally sometimes swear in front of Max because they forget. Love you. Max and I are going to go to Big Bear. I have a cabin. It'll be just him and I. I got a hot tub so I can chill. It's kind of set up as if it would be for a couple, but I like those things. I like bath salts. So, am I missing something or am I going with my lover? I see it as if I'm going with my lover, meaning that my son is a lover. He's playful. He's fun. He's filled with light. If I were to feel less than and bad, and that I don't have what I see in social media with the family wearing red shirts and having warm cocoa and watching Elf, whatever that is, I must be missing something. Bullshit. Hot tub, KCAL ceremony for my son and I. Elf, anyway. Sledding. Whether it's a big group of people or not. My son's associations on holidays is going to be fun with Dad. There's going to be no separation. Well, I hope. I can't control how he perceives things. But right now, he's with his mom, where she's more traditional, and is experiencing that with her extended family and so forth. He's experiencing both. An entrepreneur dad, who's not like the typical dad, and a mother who is a little bit more traditional. Her and I are not together. We've never been together, except that night. And he gets to celebrate 2 Christmases, and there's nothing missing or lacking. And he gets, of course, he had, it's called Grandparent or Special Friend Day. Yesterday, yeah. He didn't have grandparents show up. You know who he had show up? One of my best friends, Amy, who helps me with him, and she's really close to me. She's actually an ex-girlfriend like 10 years ago. And then he had a special surprise friend, Mary Rose, who is amazing. So he didn't have a grandparent. He didn't have mommy, daddy show up. He had what was different. 2 women who love him. But if I felt a lack of something, if I connected it to that, and I'm not doing something for him, if I feel bad, then I would create that association for him. Is this making sense? So with that being said, this all connects to the beginning of this Facebook Live. Start recreating the connections that you prefer. If you're a single parent, or if you think you're missing something, think again by what I just shared. It is a state that you want to be in more than the presence or the travel or anything else. It is a state. I've seen more people fight during the holidays because they're not in a state. They're in a state of stress and trying to keep up with the ideas, which you could be also, but because you can't, you experience a depression, okay? So I'm breaking you out of the matrix, okay? So some linear tips, and then I'm going to give you one last exercise. So, for single people, you'll love this. Here we go. Accept all invitations. Volunteer for holiday help. Usually high quality people do it too. Create a +1 dinner party. So you, even if it's 3 people, say it's a +1, so you invite someone so you can meet someone new. Whether, it's someone who you might be interested or not. Create a +1 Christmas wrapping party. So maybe you like to buy gifts. Well, create a party about it. And then people show up, invite their friends, because wrapping presents could suck for some people, especially me. I usually pay people to do it for me. It's not something I enjoy. I enjoy pushing buttons on Amazon. Wear funny Christmas sweaters, or sexy red clothes, whether you're a man or a woman. Look at this. I can walk out and about. This is a conversation starter. So why not be a peacock? It's okay. Take an exercise class. Don't wait until 2020. Do it now. People are doing it now. Why wait? When I say take an exercise class, is that people are joining classes after Thanksgiving. So you start meeting new people. Join a group or go caroling, singing. Put yourself out there. If you're too shy, I guarantee you have at least one friend that you could do it with. offer to help someone to decorate their trees or their house or whatever, getting out there with their family. So again, remember, how would you be missing something if you're in someone else's home? It reminds me of this. I worked with a client who said that I never got something from my parents. And I said, well, how did you know that? He says, well, by being around my other friends' parents. And I went, interesting. I said, so you actually had support of friends' parents. I go, how's that not family? How's that not love? Because remember, people sometimes have physical people around them and they're not present to it. They're still angry. They don't feel connected. So what is reality? It's your state of mind. It's how you interpret it. So if you're helping a family out, if you're there having a dinner with a family, how could that experience not be loving and fulfilling and so forth? See what I'm saying here? So it's a way to connect us differently. And those are some ways to basically help you. Okay? Another linear thing. When I say linear, I'm giving you the words because I do want you to get the visceral experience. I wrote this down here. And this is communicating with difficult people. And then we're going to do one last exercise and just finish this, okay? And I hope you do share this with people and watch the entire thing, okay? I'm glad this helps you, Brett. Sending you love, brother. I really love the support you've given this year. So this is when you're able to truly understand how another person feels, you have the ability to show him the world through your eyes. Does that make sense? I'll read it again. When you are able to truly understand how another person feels, you have the ability to show him the world through your eyes. So that means philosophy with compassion. I'm going to read this to you, okay? Difficult people do not care about what you know. They care that you understand them. Number 2, a challenging individual is usually dealing with internal struggles. Sometimes understand the world liberates both of you. Number 3, we have to see the positive experience within ourselves before we expect any change. 4, aggressive, defensive, or passive behavior is still a form of communication, no differently than a child breaking his own toy for attention. Understanding a child's inner world is like owning the key to heaven. You can connect and you can guide. And even though this might be an adult, by knowing this and creating that emotional resonance, you both can connect on the same page. Choose to be happy rather than trying to be right. People remember how you made them feel rather than what you said or no. Number 6, the past and future are born in the imagination. The past is only a fleeting moment in time that has no energy unless you give it energy. Make sense? The future doesn't exist. Miracles are born in the present moment. And what I mean by that is what I shared here. If you want to create love, if you want to create peace, if you want to create connectedness, if you want to be the opposite of lonely, that is a state of mind. It's not the holidays. It's not that person. It's not your past. It's not what could happen. It is what you're imagining now. Okay? So here's a very last exercise. But before I do it, what I'm going to do is pull out my Tibetan bowl that's 400 years old. So this tone is for the heart. Hear that? I don't know what it sounds like through Facebook Live. Now, I use this with clients. I use this in workshops. You are a vibratory being. And what I mean by that like how you see, that's an interpretation of vibration to give you the different colors. By what you hear, to interpret this sound or music, it happens through vibration. By what you smell, also happens through vibration. So how you think, perceive, and everything else I shared in this entire Facebook Live is through vibration. You have to find your own unique permission slip that vibrates you to the highest planes. Whether it's music, exercise, meditating, wrapping gifts, chilling in the shower longer, connecting to your animal and walking your dog, doing nothing. It doesn't matter. We all have our connection to something linear. Linear means physical reality, surfing, martial arts, whatever, that has a vibrational interpretation within our sensory apparatus to where it creates a chemical shift in our body to feel complete, to experience serotonin and dopamine, to open our hearts, and to connect to oneness. So what would you use and do during the holidays? Would you connect to the old story, consensus reality, or I look at the holidays as some conspiracy and it's all about consumerism and or about how your dad and mom didn't show up during the holidays, or you're single? Would you do that? Would you do that? No, you wouldn't. You're not going to. You can't. If you watch this entire video, it'd be really hard to continue to perpetuate that. You're a vibrational being, so choose what aligns you and makes you feel good. And here's the last exercise, and I'm going to share with you one last thing, a call of action that you can do. So during the winter months, we have different organs where we need to take extra care of. So go figure, this time of year, why people get colds and stuff in their chest. It's not just because of holidays. It is because the lungs in Chinese medicine need to be nourished. So every organ has a vibration. If you remember beginning this video, if you watch this entire thing, I said, ha. That vibration literally is for the heart. Why is it that when we laugh, we feel good? Why is laughter so healing? The vibration alone heals the heart. Isn't that insane? We have all the pharmaceuticals within our own bodies, okay? So the healing tone for the lungs is like a snake. Literally, the lungs feels that vibration. Just like you felt this vibration from the Tibetan bowl, or just like you feel good when you hear the song by John Lennon, Imagine. Same thing. So I get my hands, I put them over my chest, I close my eyes, and I'm bringing in my awareness. I'm also bringing in light energy through my crown, the top of my head, as if I take in the sun is kissing me, kissing my heart, and I'm paying attention to my lungs, bringing white light to my lungs. When I do this for about my hands on my chest, I'm going to do an entire interval for you correctly without narrating it in a second here. But I connect to any sadness or residue. And even if I were not sad, because I'm not, I'm connected to the collective you. Because I know many of you are. So as I release my sadness, because we're all connected, it helps you. But again, I said I don't have sadness. I'm connected to the collective sadness. And I'm bringing in that energy. Then I open up my hands here. And then I sweep up like this. I'm trying to do it so you can see and it goes up. I look up with my eyes. My eyes are open. And I use that vowel, or that sound, that syllable. And as I'm exhaling, and I'm upright, just so you can see me for the sake of this video, I imagine gray energy, just whatever blackness, stuff I don't need to come out of my body. And so the entire way that this might look without me narrating is like this. See how I open up my eyes? I do that 3 to 5 times. And then when I get done, I close it by putting if I'm a man, I put my left hand over my belly and then my right hand over that. If I were to be a woman, it'd be my right hand first, then my left hand over that. So right there by my belly button, I close it. I bring heaven down to earth to ground myself, and that's it. You can also use that exercise before you do all the other exercises. In this video, there's about 4 golden nuggets, or there's a lot, but little techniques I did to help you move through this, including the concepts and theories that will help better support you. As I shared before, that this is something I usually teach in about 3 hours that I just did in 1 hour with some scattered notes here. Watch it as many times as you need to support you. Please share it. If you are more interested in what I do, including get a free book that actually has exercises in it, and I'll just be upfront that when you do get the free book, you'll also get an option for the version of the book for like an audio version for like $3. It's like the price of a coffee. It's actually professionally done. It's not my voice, but it's about 2.5 hours long, the actual reading of the book. There's applicable exercises that you can do that you can process, experience at your own pace. I'm a little bit apprehensive to put the link here directly. I may or may not do that, only because Facebook has a tendency to, like anything that's outside of it, they don't share it. So I'd rather, if anything, you just take my verbal website. I'll ask my assistant what she thinks about it. But I want to start doing this more to like help you, better support you, especially for the new year, 2020. It's going to be an exciting time. And you're going to see both. You're going to see both heaven and hell. You're going to see splitting of realities. And it doesn't mean that things are getting crappy. It could be just the opposite for you, which it has for me also. Even with a lot of changes this year, with the passing of my mother, I mean, the list goes on. So, I love you. Thank you for your connection. Feel free to private message me. And again, to get the book, just go to my website, raydoktor.com. And you can download the book there. It is free. There's no freaking catch. Just get the book. It actually was published once before, and then I took it off the shelf. I didn't go ahead and do it. I just wanted to give away something free as a gift. So again, www.raydoktor.com, raydoktor.com. And I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And the audio version's pretty damn cool too. Or just continue to watch his videos and take notes, this video, and I hope it really helps you. All right, have an amazing day. and talk to you later. And share it to relatives and friends and crazy Uncle Larry. All right, bye.